Thank you for joining me. If you're just now tuning in, I'm bringing you along the journey of what it takes for a new startup with my organization, 11 Leadership. And we are continuing the conversation with my father, Kent Stroman. If you haven't been following along, you could check out some past video documents. But right now, let's take a look at one of the credentials, the Prestige University of Kentucky with College Business Management Institute. All right, let's join in on the conversation. One of the thoughts my dad gave me a few weeks ago that I've actually taken and started to really process and think through and put some flesh on it is this idea of treating your staff like volunteers or treating your employees like volunteers. And I think this will be especially helpful for anyone watching who's a high-level leader who has multiple tiers of staff underneath them in the org chart, or works with many different people. Why don't you share with everyone the thoughts behind it that you shared with me, and let's unpack that.
Yeah. So the whole idea of treating people like people, but the idea of treating employees like volunteers comes from this. As I mentioned earlier, people work harder for free than they work for pay. And if you want to validate that in your own experience, just look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are some of the things that you do voluntarily? I think about a soccer coach. I mean, as coaches, we'll get out there and rake the field, stripe the lines, get the little kids in their uniforms and tie the shoes up. Man, we work hours in some of the worst conditions, right? Extreme hot, rain, kids crawling all over the place. We'll do that for free. Somebody says, man, you couldn't pay me to do that. And that's true. You couldn't pay them to do it. So what if we treated our employees like they had options? Well, really, we do, right? But a lot of times we treat employees like they're slaves or captives. They have to come to work. They have to do what I tell them. They have to like it or they can leave. Well, you know what? They can leave. And employee or not, volunteer or not. Here's what happens with volunteers. We think, man, if I don't treat them right, they're going to stop volunteering. They're going to go someplace else. Someplace else, maybe no place. They're just going to stay home. I want to treat my employees that way. Treat them as if they have options every day. And so you don't have to come to work. And if somebody didn't have to come to work, I'm going to treat them in a way that I want to help them want to come to work, want to do the things that build the business, the company, the church, whatever the thing is. So approach it from the standpoint of winsome rather than obligation. What if we engaged employees in such a way that that they come to work because they like to? They keep coming to work, not because that's the only option they have, but because it's the best option they have. And so, anyhow, I know when I'm treated that way, I want to show up more often. I want to work harder. I want to come up with more creative, more effective approaches, and I want to bring other people along with me. In the other environment, I don't want to show up. I don't want to fully engage, and the last thing I want is for my friends to come into that same environment as well.
Hey, here's the thought. Maybe if we treat our employees like volunteers, our employees will work like volunteers. Yeah, I mean, that might be
how far you want to push that?
Asking about asking. We've already talked about this by Kent Stroman. And if you go to conversationalfundraising.com, there's the business card, or StromanConsulting.com. Some information. It's all right if they have your cell phone number,
Sure.
office number.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll probably use
this is fun.
This will be my closer for a couple of the multiple videos that I do. Yeah. For you guys at home, I have right now an hour and 1 minute recorded, so I'm going to break these up into just a couple 4 to 5 minute segments. See you next week.